There's a specific kind of silence that follows a Capricorn around. It's the silence of a construction site at 3 a.m. Vast, heavy, and full of things that haven't been built yet. If you carry this sign, you've spent most of your life feeling like a traveler stuck at the station while every other train is screaming past you. You've sat at the same dinner tables as people your age and listened to them talk about their big breaks and their early victories. You've smiled, you've nodded, but deep down, there's that cold, nagging ache in your chest. The one that whispers you're falling behind. The one that wonders if you're just a slow learner in a world that only rewards the fast. In our culture, we worship the prodigy. We celebrate the 20-something CEO and the viral sensation who became a household name overnight. We've been conditioned to believe that if success doesn't happen early, it isn't coming at all. But for the Capricorn, the clock doesn't tick. It thumps like a heartbeat. You aren't a prodigy. You are an architect. There is a biological and spiritual reason why your life feels like it's being played in slow motion. It's not a defect in your character, and it's not a streak of bad luck. It is the price of building something that isn't meant to break. While the world is obsessed with the new, you are obsessed with the true. In the next 20 minutes, we're going to pull back the curtain on why your timeline is so different. We're going to talk about the hidden mechanics of your soul, why you were born with the gravity of an old man, why you're climbing a mountain no one else can even see, and why your biggest win has been saved for the moment you're actually strong enough to hold it. You haven't missed the boat. You're just busy building a ship that can actually survive the ocean. Reason 1. You are an oak, not a weed. Take, for instance, you want to build something. If you want to build a garden shed, you can finish it in a weekend. You don't need a deep foundation. You just put some wood together, throw on a roof, and you're done. It looks great on Saturday, but when a big storm hits, that shed is gone. Most people in this world are building garden sheds. They want a quick title, a quick paycheck, and immediate praise. And because their goals are small, they finish early. But you are building a skyscraper. And the law of the earth says, the higher you want to go, the deeper you have to dig. For the first 20 or 30 years of your life, you aren't even building the visible part of your success. You are digging. You are in the dirt. You are learning the hard lessons of character, discipline, and failure. To the rest of the world, it looks like you aren't moving at all. They see you in that hole in the ground, and they think you're failing. They ask, why haven't you finished yet? What they don't understand is that you are building for load-bearing capacity. A skyscraper needs to hold the weight of thousands of people, tons of steel, and the force of the wind. If you built that skyscraper on a garden shed foundation, it would collapse. Your late start is actually your greatest protection. You are making sure your foundation hits the bedrock. You are refining your ethics. You are mastering your craft. You are becoming a person who can handle $1 million without losing your mind, or lead 1,000 people without losing your heart. By the time you finally start building upward, usually in your late 30s or 40s, you move with a speed and stability that shocks everyone. While the fast winners are watching their shallow structures blow away in the wind of the first market crash or the first personal crisis, you will be standing in a tower that is built to last for generations. You have already faced the darkness of the digging phase, so the storms of the building phase don't scare you. Your win is late because your win is meant to be permanent. You aren't just achieving success, you are becoming an institution. When an oak tree finally reaches its full height, it doesn't matter how many weeds grew and died around it. The oak is the only thing left standing. That is the Capricorn destiny. Reason 2. You are learning to wait for the second marshmallow. Have you heard about a famous psychological study called the marshmallow test? A child is put in a room with one marshmallow. They are told, if you can wait 15 minutes without eating this, I will give you a second one. Most children can't wait. The desire for that sweet taste right now is too strong. They eat it, they enjoy it for 10 seconds, and then it's gone. But a small percentage of children sit there, they struggle, they look away, but they wait. And they get the double reward. The Capricorn is the child who waits. In a world that screams, buy now, pay later, or get rich quick, you have this strange, quiet voice inside you that says, wait for the bigger prize. Think about your life. How many times have you been offered the easy path? Maybe it was a job that paid well but had no soul. Maybe it was a relationship that was fine, but didn't actually push you to grow. Most people take those first marshmallows. They settle for a good life early on. But you have this internal compass that points toward greatness. And greatness is never on the first plate. This ability is called delayed gratification. It is the most powerful predictor of success in human history. While others are spending their energy on small, temporary wins, you are investing. You are like a farmer who refuses to eat his seeds during a hungry winter because he knows that if he plants them in the spring, he will have 1,000 times more food. It looks like you're starving while others are feasting, but you are actually the one in control. Your biggest wins come late because you refuse to settle for the crumbs. You are waiting for the whole cake. This process of waiting actually changes your brain. It makes you stronger. It gives you executive control. By the time your big win arrives, you have developed the discipline to keep it. Most people who win early lose it just as fast because they never learned how to wait. They spend it all, they waste it all, and they end up back at zero. But when a Capricorn wins, they stay winning. You have built up so much stored power through your years of waiting that when the floodgates finally open, you have the pipes to handle the water. You aren't missing out on life, you are simply saving your appetite for the feast. Reason 3. You are living your life in reverse. There is a very strange secret about Capricorns that most people don't understand until they see it happen in real time. We often call it the Benjamin Button effect. In the famous story, Benjamin Button is born as an old man and grows younger every year until he becomes a baby. While that is a work of fiction, for a Capricorn, it is a psychological reality. Most people start life light and get heavy as they get older. Think about the average person. They are carefree as children, they play all day, and they don't have a worry in the world. But as they hit their 20s and 30s, the world starts to dump weight on them. They get jobs, they get mortgages, they have kids, and they start to feel the stress. By the time they hit 40, they look tired. They are mourning their youth, wishing they could go back to being that carefree child. But for you, the story is written in reverse. You were born heavy. You were likely the child who was an old soul from the day you could talk. While other kids were playing in the dirt, you were probably watching the adults, wondering how the world worked. You were the one who felt responsible for your siblings, or the one who worried about your parents' happiness. You carried a backpack of responsibility before you even knew how to tie your shoes. You spent your youth acting like a tiny adult, making the hard choices and sacrificing your fun for the sake of doing the right thing. Because you did all that heavy lifting early on, something incredible happens after the age of 30 or 40. You start to get younger. While your friends are hitting their midlife crisis and feeling crushed by the world, you are finally starting to feel free. Why? Because you've already mastered the hard parts of life. You've already learned how to work, how to save, and how to survive. Your biggest win comes late, because that is when you finally have the heart of a child and the resources of an adult. Imagine being 50 years old, but having the energy, the curiosity, and the playfulness that you weren't allowed to have at 10. You aren't late to the party. You are just the only one who arrived with enough energy and money to actually enjoy it. Your win is late because the universe wanted you to finish your old man phase early so you could spend the rest of your life in a second youth. This is why Capricorns often look better and seem happier at 60 than they did at 16. Reason 4. You are climbing a taller mountain. Let's assume you and a group of friends decide to go for a hike. Everyone starts at the same time, right at the bottom of the trail. After an hour, you look up and see your friends are already at the top of their trail. They are waving their flags, taking photos, and celebrating their victory. You, however, are still in the middle of the woods. You're sweating, your legs are burning, and you feel like a failure. You ask yourself, what is wrong with me? Why am I so slow? Why is everyone else winning while I'm still struggling in the dark? But the fact still remains that you can't see from where you are. Your friends climbed a hill. You are climbing a mountain. A hill is easy. Anyone can get to the top of a hill by noon. But the view from the top is small. You can see the parking lot where you started, and that's about it. A mountain, however, takes all day. Sometimes it takes years of preparation just to reach the first camp. You aren't slow, your destination is just significantly higher than theirs. Because you are headed for the very top, the peak of your industry or your family legacy, the environment is different for you. As you get higher, the air gets thinner. The wind blows harder. It gets colder. In life, we call this the pressure of success. Most people cannot handle the thin air of true power. If they were suddenly placed at the top of your mountain, they would pass out. They haven't built the lungs or the muscles to survive at that height. Your late win is actually a period of physical and mental training. The universe is making you stay on the trail longer so that your heart gets stronger and your mind gets tougher. You are learning how to survive the storms that would blow a hill climber right off the edge. Your win comes late because it is meant to be gravity-proof. When someone teleports to the top of a mountain, like someone who gets lucky or becomes an overnight success, they have no idea how they got there. They don't know the path. They don't know where the dangerous ledges are. When a storm hits, they fall. But when you finally reach that peak in your 40s or 50s, you will know every single rock and every single shortcut. You can't be pushed off the top because you earned every inch of that mountain. You aren't just a visitor at the top. You are the owner of the summit. The view you will have will be 1,000 times more beautiful than the view from their small hills. And you will have the strength to stay there forever. Reason 5. You are collecting secrets others miss. There is a special kind of wisdom that you can only get by being late. When you are the first one to finish a race, all you see is the finish line. But when you are the one who takes their time, you see the entire track. You see where the holes are. You see where people trip. You see the shortcuts that actually lead to dead ends. Because you haven't won yet, you have spent years in the role of the observer. While your peers were busy celebrating their early successes, you were busy studying the world. You were watching how bosses make mistakes. You were watching how businesses fail. You were watching how people's egos destroy their hard work. You have been collecting data for decades. In psychology, we call this pattern recognition. A young person might be fast, but an experienced person is accurate. Think of it like a master chess player. A beginner moves their pieces quickly because they are excited. But a master sits back, stays quiet, and watches the whole board. They might not move for a long time, but when they finally do, it's checkmate in 3 moves. Your biggest win comes late because you are waiting until you have all the secrets. By the time you step into your power, you won't have to guess what to do. You will have seen 1,000 people do it the wrong way, and you will know the one way that actually works. People will look at your late-stage success and say, wow, they're so lucky. Everything they touch turns to gold. But it isn't luck. It's the fact that you spent 20 years learning how to turn lead into gold while they were busy playing with glitter. You aren't just winning. You are winning with expertise, and expertise is the only thing that age cannot take away from you. Reason 6. You had to pass the hardest tests. First, have you ever felt like the universe is harder on you than it is on everyone else? Like you make one tiny mistake and you get punished, while other people do terrible things and seem to get away with it? If you have felt this, you aren't imagining it. This is the Saturnian audit. Think of it like a high-level security clearance. If you want to work at a grocery store, the interview is easy. They check your name and you're hired. But if you want to work at the highest levels of the government or handle top-secret information, they check everything. They check your history, your friends, your bank account, and your character. The test is long, and it is difficult. You are being tested for integrity. The universe knows that your destiny is to hold a lot of power, whether that's power in your career, power in your family, or power in your community. Because you are going to be an architect of the future, the universe cannot afford for you to have a weak character. If you had a crack in your ethics or a hole in your discipline, the whole structure you build later would fall and hurt people. So, the universe gives you the hard tests early. It gives you the difficult bosses, the financial struggles, and the moments of deep loneliness. It's checking to see if you will break. It's checking to see if you will take the easy way out or if you will stay honest even when it hurts. Your win comes late because you are graduating from a much harder school than everyone else. Most people are graduating from Easy Street University. You are graduating from the Academy of Hard Knocks. When you finally pass these tests, usually around the age of 29 or 30, and again in your late 50s, the universe hands you the keys to the kingdom. You aren't late. You are finally certified. You have a cosmic security clearance that no one can take away from you because you've proven you can handle the weight without breaking. Reason 7. You are building a home for others, not just a tent for yourself. The final reason your big win comes late is because of the scale of your vision. There are two ways to live. You can live for yourself, or you can live for a legacy. Most people are building tents. A tent is great for one person. It's light, it's fast to set up, and it keeps you dry for a night. But a tent is not a home. You can't raise a family in a tent for 50 years, and you certainly can't leave a tent to your grandchildren. As a Capricorn, you are a builder of institutions. Whether you realize it or not, your soul is interested in things that last. You aren't just trying to get a paycheck. You are trying to build financial security that protects your children. You aren't just trying to get a promotion. You are trying to change the way your industry works. You are building a stronghold. This kind of work takes an incredible amount of time because it involves other people. You are building a shady tree that you might not even sit under yourself, but your descendants will. Your win is late because you are playing for generational wealth. And I'm not just talking about money. I'm talking about a wealth of character, a wealth of name, and a wealth of stability. While others are winning small sprints for themselves, you are winning a marathon. For your entire lineage, you are the one who breaks the cycle of struggle in your family. You are the one who sets the new standard. That kind of work is heavy, and it is slow. But when that home is finally finished, it provides warmth and safety for dozens of people for decades to come. You aren't late. You are just building something much bigger than yourself. So if you are a Capricorn watching this and you feel the sting of being behind, I want you to take a deep breath and look at your hands. Those are the hands of a master builder. The world will try to rush you. Society will try to make you feel guilty for not peaking at 25. But the world doesn't understand the physics of your life. They don't see the foundation you've dug. They don't see the mountain you're climbing. And they don't see the reverse aging joy that is waiting for you just around the corner. Stop comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. Your story is written in a different language, the language of Saturn. And in that language, the best part is always at the end. You aren't failing. You are ripening. You aren't losing the race. You are the only one who realized it was a marathon. Continue to be patient. Continue to be honest. Continue to do the hard work in the dark, because when your sun finally rises, and it won't be a flash in the pan. It will be a steady, golden light that stays in the sky long after the fast winners have faded into memory. You are the architect of time, and a master architect never rushes the masterpiece. If this message reached you today, leave a comment with the word foundation to let the universe know you are ready for the long game. Subscribe to join our community of builders, and remember, your mountain is waiting, and you have all the time in the world. Until next time, keep building.